I'm with Janet Bawcom and Jay Bawcom, and we're in Kapsabet, Kenya, just before Christmas. Janet, it's a delight to see you. You were at New York City Marathon, didn't go as well as planned. We were worried about your injury. How are you doing from that?
I'm doing really well. After New York, I was disappointed to pull out of the U.S. Championship, but you know, I took 5 weeks off. I just started back slow a week ago, and I'm feeling better for sure. It's gonna be a while before I get back in shape, but I'm excited to be healthy again.
Well, you won 3 championships in 2013. It would have been great because I was announcing at the U.S. Championship, and I kept saying, "Where's Janet?" And then I knew, of course, the injury. But now you're healthy and training at altitude. Of course, I'm from Colorado, so I have no sympathy for you. You know, but it's been a great year for you in other ways. Tell me about your academics.
Yeah, you know, I try to look at the bright side for sure. I pulled a 4.0 this semester, or in my BSN program anyway, so I'm excited about it. Just finished it about a week ago and got my grades this week. So
how were your grades?
They were good. I got a 4.0. So.
Yeah, I never saw a 4.0 in my life, in undergraduate or graduate, so God bless you. All right, so competitions are coming up.
Yes.
There's an array of U.S. Races. I know you're still debating which race you're going to start with, and I'm going to talk to Jay in a second. But what do you think? If you had your ideal schedule, what might it look like?
You know, my ideal schedule would be probably to hit most of the U.S. Championship road races, and the first one is going to be in March, the 15K, and I've won it 2 years in a row, and it would be amazing if I go back and win it again. But, you know, I just have to play it by ear. And hopefully I'll be in Jacksonville in the middle of March.
And USA Track and Field long distance running has selected Cherry Blossom 10 miler as a big race, a prize money race. Would we see you there?
Yes, I think if not the 15K, which I think I will hopefully be there, I'll be back in shape and probably be there to contend the win. And then the next stop would probably be Cherry Blossom, and then go from there. For sure, do my usual road circuit and hopefully hit the 25K too there. And that would be amazing to just hit it one more time and see what I can do again.
Well, the marathon's a very fickle distance. Is that going to be in your plans for 2014?
Definitely. You know, I want to hit as many road championships in the spring and in the summer, and then hopefully do Twin Cities in October.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I won't put you on the spot anymore about your training, your racing. Now, your fellow Kenyans here that know you, do they give you, are they surprised, or do they have an interest in you being an American now and on the Olympic team? That must be interesting to them.
It is very interesting to them for sure, because I always just raced in the US, and then when I went to the Olympics, everybody watched it, and finally they figured out, wow, you still run? And at that level, and so since then they've been really
respectful.
Yes, they have. And a lot of people, when I got here, they were telling me sorry about New York, so they were watching it, so that's good.
All right, and now we're going to turn our attention to your fine husband, Jay. And Jay, you know, I had no idea that you were actually a secret Jayhawk. Tell me about that.
This past summer, I was working as a nurse, and in a spat of boredom, got online and was seeing what opportunities might exist down the line for me. I was really thinking 5 or 6 years down the line and just trying to find out what was out there. And I applied for a position in research at the University of Kansas Med School, and I knew it had a connection with Kenya, but I really didn't even know where. They called me for an interview, and the first question I asked them was, where are we talking about in Kenya? And they asked if I was familiar with Kapsabet. Well, of course, that's Janet's hometown. And so one thing led to another, and I'm now here working on a research project with them through the winter. We are using computer software to monitor the treatment of babies born to women who are HIV positive, and hopefully make sure that we have another generation of kids who don't have to live with HIV. And we're getting ready to start the actual trial up. I'm doing some groundwork here right now to get us ready for that, and then we'll be back and forth between the States and Kenya over the next 5 years, hopefully.
Well, that's pretty exciting for you as a career development point, and that's great work because it's so important throughout Africa and certainly in Kenya. Now, your training, I mean, you know, I know you've always aspired to be a world-class athlete.
Oh, yeah.
You've been disappointed just like I have. But what are you doing to stay in shape over here?
Sorry, I've been running a little bit. I'm trying to go 3 days a week right now and just increase the length of my runs. And I do a lot of biking over here. Between the footpaths and the dirt roads, the mountain biking over here is really fantastic. And I really enjoy it. It's great. I have 2 mountain bikes over here. I've managed to disassemble them and bring them in my luggage the last 2 times we've come. And so I just bounce up and down the dirt roads on the mountain bikes, like surprising people in the rural villages when they see this white guy on a bike come screaming down the hill. It's a lot of fun, and I try to be careful because I don't want to end up in one of the Kenyan hospitals over here.
I understand that completely. Now, I do have one other question for you.
Sure.
You're so proximate to Janet. What about being coaching? Do you give her a lot of inside information, advice?
You know, I try to stay out of it unless I'm asked. She's coached by Jack Daniels, and there's you know, certainly something to be said for that. In fact, the 3rd edition of his book's coming out, and she's the cover model for that. So I guess that relationship is cemented and something I can't interfere with. But we kind of describe it as Jack's the architect and I'm the contractor. He sends us the program, and then day in and day out, it's my job to kind of interpret it in the context of where we are, what we're doing. And it's great because when there's a really tough question, I don't have to argue with Janet. That's Jack's problem. And when the question's nice and easy, then I get to answer them and look smart. So.
Well, you know, you mentioned Jack Daniels, and it brings back memories that in 1978 at the, I think it's called the Hard Labor Creek Park or something outside Atlanta, I went to a training camp there where Mary Decker was and Jeff Galloway and lots of others. Jack Daniels was one of the young coaches in that group in 1978. So both of you, it's great to see you, and thank you so much, Janet. Thank you so much, Jay, and
great.
Merry Christmas, and we'll see you in 2014.
That sounds great.